Imagine an organ inside your body that works nonstop, day and night, never asking for rest, never demanding attention, quietly cleaning your blood, managing your energy, balancing your hormones, and protecting you from toxins you don't even know you've encountered. Now, imagine that this organ can be stressed, overloaded, or damaged for years without causing pain. No warning signs, no loud alarms, and yet one simple blood test can reveal its condition, its struggles, and even its hope for recovery. That test is called the liver function test, or LFTs, and today I want to take you on a journey into what this test really means, not just medically, but personally, because understanding your liver is really about understanding how you live. When most people hear liver test, they immediately think something is wrong. Fear kicks in. But the truth is, LFTs are not about panic. They're about awareness. They are one of the most powerful tools modern medicine gives us to listen to the body before it starts shouting. Your liver is like the wise worker of your body, handling everything behind the scenes. Every meal you eat, every medication you take, every late night, every stressful day, every glass of water you skip, all of it eventually reaches the liver, and the liver responds, adapts, adjusts, and keeps going. LFTs simply translate that silent effort into numbers we can understand. Let's slow this down and talk like real people. Your liver is not just an organ sitting there, it's a processing center. It decides what nutrients to store, what toxins to neutralize, what energy to release, and what waste to remove. It helps regulate blood sugar, cholesterol, and proteins that keep fluid balanced in your body. When the liver is healthy, you feel normal. Not energetic, not tired, just normal. And that's the tricky part. Most liver problems don't announce themselves early. That's why LFTs matter so much. When you do an LFT, the lab measures certain substances in your blood that reflect how your liver is doing its job. These substances don't appear randomly. They appear because liver cells are living, breathing, working units. When they are stressed or injured, they release enzymes into the blood. When the liver struggles to process waste, certain pigments rise. When it can't produce enough essential proteins, that shows up too. None of this happens overnight. It's gradual, and that gradual change is exactly what makes early testing so powerful. Think about enzymes like ALT and AST. These are often the first things people look at on an LFT report. Many people see a high number and immediately think the worst. But here's the important thing to understand. These enzymes rise when liver cells are irritated or inflamed. That irritation could come from fatty liver, viral infections, alcohol, medications, poor diet, or even intense physical stress. The rise is not a verdict, it's a signal. It's the liver saying, something is affecting me, pay attention. Then there's bilirubin, a substance that comes from the breakdown of old red blood cells. Your liver processes bilirubin and helps remove it from the body. When bilirubin rises, it can sometimes cause yellowing of the eyes or skin, but often it increases quietly. A bilirubin level tells a story about how efficiently the liver is clearing waste and how well bile is flowing. Again, it's not about fear. It's about understanding flow and balance. Another key part of LFTs is albumin and total protein. These are proteins made by the liver that help maintain fluid balance and transport substances in the blood. Low levels don't usually happen suddenly. They reflect long-term liver stress, poor nutrition, or chronic illness. This is where LFTs become less about a single bad habit and more about the bigger picture of health over time. Now let's talk honestly about why so many people today have abnormal LFTs. It's not always alcohol. In fact, one of the most common causes worldwide is fatty liver disease, often linked to excess weight, insulin resistance, and sedentary lifestyles. This condition can develop even in people who never drink alcohol. That's a powerful reminder that the liver responds to overall lifestyle, not just one behavior. Too much sugar, refined carbohydrates, processed foods, and constant overeating overwhelm the liver's ability to manage fat. Over time, fat accumulates inside liver cells, creating inflammation. LFTs often pick this up long before symptoms appear.
LFTs invite
Stress
you into
also
a
plays a
partnership
bigger
with your
role than
own
most people
biology,
realize.
helping you adjust
Chronic
and
stress
work towards
changes
better
hormone
health.
levels, increases inflammation, disrupts sleep, and influences eating habits. All of these affect liver metabolism. When someone's LFTs are mildly elevated, it's often not one dramatic cause, but a collection of small daily pressures adding up. This is where health stops being about blame and starts being about compassion. One of the most beautiful things about the liver is its ability to regenerate. This is not motivational talk, it's biological fact. Liver cells can repair and multiply when damage is reduced and conditions improve. That means many abnormal LFTs are reversible. When people improve their diet, reduce alcohol, increase physical activity, hydrate properly, manage stress, and review medications with their doctor, liver enzymes often move back towards normal. Watching that change happen on repeat is incredibly empowering. It turns numbers into feedback, not judgment. Let's talk diet in a practical way. Your liver loves simplicity. Whole foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, healthy fats, and adequate fiber make its job easier. Excess sugar and ultra-processed foods create extra work. Hydration supports detox pathways. Even modest weight loss, 5 to 10% of body weight, can significantly improve liver enzyme levels in people with fatty liver. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. The liver responds to patterns, not occasional efforts. Physical activity also has a direct effect on liver health. Movement improves insulin sensitivity, reduces fat accumulation in the liver, and enhances circulation. You don't need extreme workouts. Regular walking, light strength training, or gentle cardio can make a measurable difference. Again, LFTs often improve not because of one dramatic change, but because of steady, repeatable habits. Medications deserve special attention. Many common drugs are processed by the liver. Painkillers, antibiotics, supplements, and herbal remedies can all influence LFTs. This doesn't mean medications are bad, it means they should be used wisely and under guidance. Sometimes an abnormal LFT is simply the liver reacting to something temporary. That's why doctors often repeat the test after some time before making conclusions. The liver needs time, and medicine respects that rhythm. What I want you to really take away from this is that LFTs are not a label, they are a conversation starter. They help doctors and patients understand what's happening beneath the surface. They encourage earlier changes instead of later regret. They remind us that health is not binary, sick or healthy, but a spectrum that shifts based on how we live. When you've ever felt anxious looking at a lab report, you're not alone. Numbers feel cold and final. But when you understand the story behind them, they become human. An elevated enzyme is not a failure, it's information. It's the body offering guidance. And when we respond with care instead of fear, outcomes often improve. There's also something deeply philosophical about the liver. It gives without complaint. It adapts to excess, absorbs impact, and keeps going. Many people treat their bodies the same way they treat their lives, pushing through stress, ignoring signals, assuming they'll deal with the consequences later. LFTs gently challenge that mindset. They ask us to pause, to check in, to listen. So if you're watching this because your doctor ordered an LFT, or because you saw an abnormal result, or because you're just curious about your health, know this: knowledge is power, but only when paired with patience and action. Your liver is not fragile, but it is honest. It reflects your habits, your environment, and your choices. And the good news is, it also reflects your efforts to change. As science advances, we get more sophisticated tests and imaging, but the basic principle remains the same. Early awareness leads to better outcomes. LFTs are simple, affordable, and incredibly informative. They bridge the gap between invisible processes and visible action. They remind us that prevention is quieter than treatment, but far more powerful. Your health journey doesn't need to start with illness. It can start with curiosity, a simple blood test, a few numbers, and a willingness to understand what your body is saying. When you learn to see LFTs not as a threat, but as guidance, you begin to shift your relationship with your body. And that shift, more than any medication, is where long-term health truly begins.